Anyway,
Oh,
it's like old friends here. I got Jodi and Jordan with the Couldn't Be Happiers here, all the way from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we're going to talk about a few more things. Let's talk about the origins of the band name because I always find this to be cool. The Couldn't Be Happiers. I never not see you guys smiling in your videos. I imagine that's why, right?
it is, yeah, I mean, essentially that's the truth. When we got together and we decided, we both had been in previous marriages where our spouses did not really feel comfortable with us being performers. And so, I mean, when I got out of my marriage, Jordan got out of his marriage, and we got together, we're like, hey, we both like performing. Let's just be a band together. And we started actually just sort of playing out as Jodi and Jordan, but we're like, gotta come up with a band name. We came up with all these ideas. And so we were just kind of like workshopping them with friends and family. And I was like, what about like couldn't be happier? And I kind of just said it as like kind of being silly.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, you know what? That fits. That is the one that fits, you guys. And so it became our band name. It was the one that most people just said, yeah, that's what you are. So
Were
that's
you
what
on
your
board
name.
totally, Jordan?
Oh, yeah. It was great. I mean, it was smart for so many reasons. I mean, we truly felt it. And then also, like, there's not much Google overlap there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There, Wicked has a song called "Couldn't Be Happier," and that's about the only Google overlap.
Yep.
I mean, it was brilliant. Jody's. We have a project with our producer that where we play shows together. We try to do about 4 or 5 of them a year. And Jody came up with the name for that one, and it's the Misery Loves Company Traveling Roadshow.
I
So
love it.
she's got a knack for it, man.
Yeah, that Google overlap is important.
Oh,
Huge.
for
You know,
sure.
I got
Yeah.
this nickname Boston Chris, man. The freaking overlap sucks. Like
Yeah,
you
I'd
type in
imagine.
Boston Chris, like I know one year I was higher than the Bruins, so there's that.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a good year. It was the Red Sox, the Celtics, then Chris, then Bruins. I was like, okay, we're doing all right.
That's pretty good.
So at some point in time, you're dabbling with music as youngsters, I imagine, but at some point it becomes more serious, a little less of a hobby. When did that happen for both of y'all?
Ooh. Well, I've been singing since I was a kid. My mom had a hair salon in our basement, and at 5 years old, I'd go sing Little Mermaid songs to people who are like stuck captive in the chair. Um, and I grew up like singing in church, but I never played an instrument. And I was working at a law firm, and my boss came by one day. It was like late in the evening, and I might have been, I don't know, I guess I might have been the only one there. I was an associate. And he was like, you really need a hobby. Like, work is not a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
You should start coming to this unbroken circle, bunch of white people that play bluegrass and old time music. I think you'd really like it. And I was like, I don't play an instrument. Like, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, you just learn one, you know? And I was like, I'm too old to learn an instrument. I'm in my late 20s. Oh my God. And he was like, well, I picked up the upright bass at 50. So if I can do it, you can do it. So
Yeah.
I started learning to play guitar. And then I would go to these old time jams where I met Jordan actually. And that's where I was kind of learning how to play guitar and like play with people, like watch their fingers and see the chord changes and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I hadn't been doing it that long. And then once we got together, he was a much better guitar player. So I decided I need to do something else. And
Mm-hmm.
so I decided I was going to play the drums. So then then I started learning to play the drums. And so and harmonica. I'm learning cross harp right now too. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot
Sometimes the
of,
most important musical instrument you have is your vocals. By the way, don't ever downplay that.
well, thank
Yeah,
you.
I,
I
I don't
agree.
feel. I feel like so many people are like, well, I don't play an instrument, but they can sing like crazy, and like music, like your vocals is an instrument. Um, just look at
True.
people like Billie Eilish and what she does with her instrument is
Oh,
just ridiculous. You know what I mean?
amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So Jordan, what was that like for you when you were like, you know what, this is going to be a little bit more serious for me?
I always wanted to do it. So I did play a little in Texas.
Yeah.
Um, and I always wanted to do it. I just never, I mean, I was always in and out of school and Uh, Jodi, Jodi gets something in her sights and she wants to get it. And
Dogged.
so it's, I mean,
Mm.
like I mean, this same shit. She's sitting here talking about 3 instruments that she's learned as an adult in
Yeah, that's
a profession,
ridiculous. Yep.
and she's quite good on top of having this amazing voice. And Jodi started seeing gigs that she's like, I want to play there one day, and it was like, all right. And then she dragged me kicking and screaming, and she's like, I want to get out the first album. She dragged me kicking and screaming, and I mean, it started off as just open mics, and then quickly became our second job. And like I said, I played in Fredericksburg and San Antonio quite a bit as a solo guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I just always felt like I was a storyteller and a writer, and I like being on stage.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that rush. I like that feeling, and it was just perfect. And so couldn't be happier.